Hello friends, in this tutorial I will show how to create glowing light streaks in Blender. To start, let's create a new project. Go to File, New, Reload Startup File. I will now turn on Screencast so you can see the keys used in the project. The cube is selected by default. Hold down the Shift key and using right mouse button, select the lamp. Press key X to delete both the objects. Press Shift A, Mesh, Cylinder to add the object. Change the vertices to 8, radius to 0.05 and set the cap fill type to nothing. Now press key 1 followed by key 5 on numpad to switch to front orthographic view. Press tab key once to switch to edit mode. We now need to insert loop cuts in the cylinder. For that, hover the cursor over the object and press Ctrl R. Use scroll wheel to increase the cuts to 3. Press left click followed by right click to confirm the operation. Press key A twice to select the object. Press key R, type 90 followed by enter to rotate the object by 90 degrees. Now switch back to object mode by pressing tab key again. Press G to grab the object, then Z and type -3 followed by enter to move the object 3 units along the negative Z direction. Hit G again, then X and type -10 followed by enter. Zoom out from the viewport. Switch to top view using key 7. Hit G, then Y and type -1 followed by enter. Switch back to front view, go to Modifiers tab, add an array modifier. Keep all the default settings. Check merge so as to merge the added object. Change the count value to 10. Add another array modifier. Uncheck relative offset, check constant offset and set Z value to 1. Increase the count value to 7. Add another array modifier. Uncheck relative offset, check constant offset and set Y value to 1. Switch to top view to see the changes and increase the count value to 3. Switch back to front view, add a cast modifier. You will see that the cast modifier works around the origin of the object, but we need it to work at the center. For that, press Shift A and add an empty plane axis. Select the cylinder object again and in the cast modifier, set the control object as empty. Change the radius from 0 to 4.5. Now select the empty, press Shift D, then X and type 15 followed by enter to create a duplicate empty 15 units ahead. Repeat this step. As a result, there are 3 empties in the project. Select the cylinder object again. Add another cast modifier. Set the cast type to cuboid. Set the control object as empty.001. Don't worry about this deformation. Drag the cylinder over the empty and change the radius from 0 to 5.5. Again add another cast modifier, set control object as empty.002. Drag the cylinder over the empty and change the radius from 0 to 4.5. When we now move the cylinder over the empties, the cast modifier works very well. It's now time to set up the camera view. Drag the cylinder object to the side. Hit dot key on numpad to frame the object in the scene. Then press Ctrl, Alt and num0 to set the camera to the view. We will now animate the cylinder object to move over the empties. I will set the length of the animation to be 300 frames long. Make sure that the timeline cursor is on frame 1. Select the camera, then shift select the cylinder object. Press Ctrl P and set parent to object. This will set up the cylinder as parent object for the camera. Select the cylinder object, go to Object Data button, right-click in the X location and choose Insert Single Keyframe. Now go to frame 300, drag the cylinder object to the other side of the empties. Right-click on the X location and choose Insert Single Keyframe. When we now play the animation, it moves at a non-uniform speed. To make the motion uniform, divide the viewport by dragging along the white angled lines. Open the graph editor. Use Ctrl key and middle mouse button to reduce the scale of the graph. Make sure that both the keyframe points are selected. Hit key T and choose linear. Extend the viewport again. The animation now shows uniform motion. Now let's set up the material. Click on Material Data button. Click New. Give it some bright color. If you want to use the same color as I am using, then set red value to 0.6, green value to 1 and blue value to 0. Change the type to wire. Reduce specular intensity to 0 and set emit value to 0.7. Now go to World Data button and set the background as black. Go to Render Data button. Set the desired render dimensions. Now click on Render button. After rendering completes, change the layout to Compositing. Make sure Compositing Nodes is selected. Click on Use Nodes. Click on Backdrop. Hold down the Ctrl and Shift keys and left click over the Render Layer node to add a Viewer node. Click on Fit to align the image to viewport. Now we will give it a nice glow effect. For that, press Shift A and add a glare filter. Set number of streaks to 2. Set threshold to 0.2. A nice glow effect is formed. Add another glare filter. Set the type to fog glow. Set threshold value to 0.3. There is a nice enhanced glow. Add another glare filter. Set the type to ghosts. Set threshold to 0.6. This generates a brighter glow effect in the background. Now add a lens distortion node. Increase the dispersion value to 0.2. Set the type as projector. Once you are satisfied with the compositing, switch back to default layout. Set the output directory where you want to save the animation. Change the output format. Here I will be using OGG Theora. It's quite fair to save the project first in case something happens while rendering. Now click on Animation button. This will take some time to render. I will pause the video during the render process. Our animation has now finished rendering. It took my PC around 20 minutes to render these 300 frames. You can now view the animation. For that, go to Render menu and choose Play Rendered Animation. You can also browse the file in the Explorer and use any third-party player to play the video file. So guys, this here concludes the tutorial. If you liked watching the video, do subscribe and leave a comment.